If we'd all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Call this meeting to order at 7:00 p.m. Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Von Crooks.
Here.
Benedetti.
Here.
Campbell-Watton.
Present.
Hornbeck. Here. Perugi.
Here.
Rodriguez.
Here.
Rizeppa.
Here.
Quorum present, Mayor Rizeppa.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. First item we have here is the minute approval of the March 17th, 2025 regular meeting and the March 31st special
So moved.
meeting. Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it is unanimously so ordered. We'll go to public comment on agenda items now. This portion of public comment we have reserved exclusively for items on today's agenda. We'll have another opportunity for all other public comment at the close of the meeting. Asking that anyone wishing to speak, please begin with their name and address and limit their comments to 5 minutes. Direct all questions through me. Not seeing anyone today. We'll keep moving along here. And then the next item I've got for you all is a request to approve my appointment of Dennis Dumas to the Zoning Board of Appeals for a term expiring April 1st, 2028.
So moved. Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, could you please call the roll?
Benedetti.
Yes.
Campbell-Watton.
Yes.
Hornbeck.
Yes.
Perugi.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Rizeppa.
Abstain.
Von Crooks.
Yes.
Motion carries, Mayor Rizeppa.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, and thank you all. For our 33rd District Court fines, costs, and fees for March 2025, we'll go to our court delegate, Councilman Benedetti.
Thank you, Mayor. Move to receive and place on file the fines, costs, and fees for March 2025 submitted by the 33rd District Court. So in the city of Trenton receiving $22,695.24.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered there. Next up, Madam Clerk, I'll have you take this one from the Vintage Market with the Trenton Farmers Market, a request for permission from the Vintage Market to hold the Trenton Farmers Market.
Thank you. So before you is a request from the Vintage Market to hold a Trenton Farmers Market in the city of Trenton at our city-owned parking lot located at the corner of West Jefferson and Elm Street. This would take place every Thursday from 2 to 7 p.m., beginning in May through September of 2025.
Support. So moved.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. And then I'll have you take the next couple here, too. We have a few from groups and organizations. The first from the Civic Commission, the Memorial Day Parade road closure.
Okay. So before you, I have 3 road closure requests. The first one is the Civic Commission Memorial Day Parade road closure. That would be on Saturday, May 24th. The Summer Festival Committee Trenton Summer Festival road closure, which would be held on June 27th, 28th, and 29th. And then lastly, also from the Civic Commission would be the Christmas Parade road closure, should be held on December 6th, 2025.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Thank you all. All right, from our controller, Ms. Cooper here, we have a recommended fiscal year 2025-2026 budget.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council. I am looking for a motion to receive and place on file the mayor's recommended fiscal year 2025 to 2026 budget and schedule a public hearing for the purpose of taking public comment on Monday, April 21st at 6:45 p.m.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it is unanimously so ordered. Thank you, Jill. Stay tuned after the meeting, and I get to do my actual presentation on it. So, yeah, almost to the prime time slot. All right, next up, our Parks and Rec Director, Mr. Beaker here, our 2025 fireworks contract.
Thank you, Mayor. Attached for your consideration is a contract for Ace Pyro in the amount of $55,000 for the 2025 fireworks celebration to be held on June 28th, 2025, with a rain date of June 29th. Acceptance of this contract requires waiving of the normal bidding process in the best interest of the city, as this contractor has worked with us previously, has provided excellent product, professional service, and has maintained the price from the previous year. Along with this contract approval, I'm requesting approval to permit the 2025 fireworks display to be held on June 28th with the rain date of the 29th. The barge will be moved south in the water towards the foot of West Road since Rotary Park is officially under construction. Patrons will be able to view the fireworks from the festival stage and surrounding parks.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Thank you. All right, and we've got one late item, I believe. Our Administrator, Mr. Creech here will take care of the reapproval of the 2025 Ford Maverick for the fire department here.
Thank you, Mayor. On behalf of the fire chief, he's requesting an additional amount of money to the Maverick pickup truck that was already ordered for the fire department in the amount of $1,874. As you know, with a lot of things going on with Ford and everything, getting this truck in a timely fashion is really going to be difficult. But this truck is very similar. It just has a couple extra pieces of equipment on it, the spray and bed liner and the tow package, which we actually would have put on probably anyways afterwards. So it's really not a big cost. So seeking your reapproval with the additional cost of $1,874 with a total cost not to exceed $41,000.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. Thank you, Dean. Alrighty, next up, we'll go to our disbursements and statements, then our reports. I'll kick things over to our Mayor Pro Tem, Councilman Benedetti.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to approve the authorized disbursements April 14, 2025, the amount of $2,511,544.42.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered.
Receive and place on file the following board and minutes reports: Board of Review minutes, March 2025, City Beautiful Commission minutes, March 5th, 2025, Civic Commission minutes, March 3rd, 2025, the Downtown Development Authority minutes, March 13th, 2025, Recreation Commission minutes, September 17th, 2024, October 15th, 2024, November 19th, 2024, and February 25th, 2025.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Seeing none, it's unanimously so ordered. And then
And I got one more for you, Mayor. Make a motion to hold a closed study session of the council immediately following the budget study session to discuss the purchase and/or sale of property.
Support.
Moved and supported. Any further discussion? Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Cabawatan,
Yes.
Hornbeck,
Yes.
Perugi,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Rezeppa,
Yes.
Von Crooks.
Yes.
Benedetti.
Yes.
Motion carries, Mayor Rezeppa.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Councilman Benedetti. We'll go to other council business now, and then just my only thing tonight is just a reminder for folks that I'll have my budget presentation after the meeting tonight. So should have some details there, along with Wednesday night at 6:30, our next budget meeting as well too, where I get to turn things over to Councilman Benedetti to run things. So very excited for that part of it. But that's all I've got tonight, and so we'll get started with Councilman Perugi.
Nothing tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
Alrighty, Councilman Cabawatan.
Yes, Mayor, just want to remind everyone that the marshmallow drop at Elizabeth Park is this Friday at 9 a.m. for Elizabeth Park, and I believe it's at 9 a.m. in Nankin as well, up in Westland for, they have one at 9 a.m. that's like a non-noise one, and then they have the 11 a.m. with the helicopter at Nankin as well. So, but here for Trenton, 9 a.m. Friday, marshmallow drop.
Great.
That's all I have.
Thank you very much, Councilwoman Rodriguez.
I do not have anything this evening, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, Councilwoman Von Crooks.
Nothing tonight, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, Councilman Benedetti.
Nothing tonight, Mayor, thanks.
All right, Councilwoman Hornbeck.
Nothing tonight.
All right. We'll go to our other elected officials. Madam Clerk, do you have anything?
No, I do not. Thank you.
All right, our assessor, Ms. Joni here. Oh, yeah. All right, nothing there. Mr. Treasurer, Mr. McCullough.
Well, I'm not all set. There's an open microphone, for God's sake.
Our
We
taxes
don't
due?
know. What are you talking about? More good news. And by the way, thank you for that bougie event. If I haven't said it again and again and again, but it may be coming back up next year. On your desks, I think you found a flyer. And I just want to comment on the generosity of spirit that this community has for the business community, the vitality that we have within the community. I think you all are starting to feel it. I know I am. And this is a small grant that Rotary has. And I got to tell you, we're aided by Angeli. Angeli, did I pronounce it right? Angelia. See, I told her when I met that I was going to screw up her name multiple times, and true to my word, I've screwed it up. Anyways, Angelia was very helpful from the DDA, even though this grant process, it's a business development grant, is open to not only DDA area, but also the city of Trenton. It's open to businesses. We'd like to focus on newer businesses, but business climate, business in general, to improve the business climate. It's open. They can fill out whatever they want the need to be. There will be interviews. The application's on the back. It starts, deadline for the applications is June 1st, I believe, June 1st. And we'll have interviews during June, and then we'll award the money on July 1st. Again, it's not a huge amount of money, but everybody working together to provide a little bit of help, I think that creates the business climate that we all want, that we're in favor of it, that the city's working with you, that the community's working with you. And so I just want to let that out. Please let people know that this is available. There's no strings attached other than they got to fill out the application and they got to give a report probably in 6 months as to what the money went for, because it's, as you all know, it's not about the money.
What the money can do.
Thank you. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Yes, noted here, it says up to 5 grants with the cost of 25 to 5,000, 2,500 to 5,000. Is that the total purse for, divided by 5 grants, or that's potentially each grant can have 25 to 5,000?
Understand that there is only an amount of like 13,000. So some grants might be 2,500, one might be 5,000. Depends on how many we get, how many applications we get, and how many qualified applications we get. A lot of this we're moving along. This money had been, we had received, Rotary had received it from Rotary International, so it's money coming in, which is very unusual in our organization, but we've been sitting on it for a while. We had started out as Launch Trenton. Remember when we had Launch Trenton? It seemed to have legs on it, but it really didn't, wasn't able to get traction. So now we've got $13,000, and we're ready to move this money, and we want to move it now. And it is a grant, not a loan. Big difference from what it was before.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I had the same question.
Okay.
We're all set.
Gotcha. Anyone else? All right. Thank you a ton, Mike. Thank you. All right. Any of our department heads have anything? Go to public comment now. Anyone wishing to speak, please begin with your name and address. Limit your comments to 5 minutes. Direct all questions through me. Not seeing any. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support.
Moved and supported for adjournment at 7:14 p.m. Right. We'll keep this streaming here and. All right.
Yeah.
Do I have to formally open the study session?
Yes, you're the chairman of it.
Yeah, I don't think so. It's weird without the gavel, I suppose.
Yeah, would just state what
We'll
time.
just, yeah, okay. We'll officially begin the City of Trenton budget session here for the presentation of my recommended budget at 7:15 p.m. So this presentation is going to look very familiar to the ones that you've received over the last several years. So it shouldn't be anything too new, especially as you got the detailed reports over the last week here. This will run through some of the background on how we got to this point and just some of the highlights before we go into the more detailed discussions later on in the week. So I'm happy to certainly take any questions you might have on the presentation at the end. So. Kind of four main buckets we'll talk through this on this evening. The first being sort of the background of how we got here, which as has been the song that I have sang each of the times here before. Over the last 2 decades or so, we've seen declines in our annual state shared revenue, pretty sizable declines in the value of $1 mil, both of which, fortunately, the last couple of years, 2 to 3 or so, have really seen some major upticks that have helped us out tremendously. But we've also seen some big declines in our staffing levels for full-time employees through attrition. But we've been fortunate in our ability to continue to maintain the services we provide to our residents. If we go to the next slide. All right, so this chart has not been updated, as you can see, since 2017, but I think it still makes the same point here in terms of the declines in state shared revenue that we're receiving from the state of Michigan from some of the peaks around late 90s, early 2000s. Shows that in dollars at this point when they stopped measuring it about 8 years ago, we're getting about $1.2 million less in revenue each year from the state than we would have. And while those numbers do end in 2017, I think it's probably pretty safe to say that they'd be much higher at this point and probably would have doubled cumulatively. So as I've said the last couple of years, we have seen some upticks in that revenue again, but still plenty of work to do from where we were at one point. Next here in my sort of crudely crafted chart that I think does at least portray some optimism for us here. And to explain for folks at home a little bit too, because especially around both notice of assessment time and tax time, people do have a lot of questions about this and how those taxes are assessed and levied and things like that. So here, as you can see, before the Great Recession, we were peaking at about $850,000 a year, I'm sorry, not a year, $850,000 for 1 mil is what the city collected. The way that the property taxes work here in Michigan, it's based on the value of your home. When the value of your home declines, which hopefully never does, but unfortunately was the reality about 15 or so years ago, the assessed value declines and so do your property taxes. Now, when the value of your home continues to increase and rebound, as we saw several years after and continue to see across the area, your assessment can increase. However, the property taxes levied on you are capped at either 5% or the rate of inflation, whichever is lower. So that is all the millage value can increase by. So while the revenue from our millages can decline really overnight, it can take a decade minimum, as we've seen it'll probably be about 2 decades, to actually rebound to our pre-Great Recession height where they actually peaked at. The last couple years, as you can see on the chart, that I was able to add that stick figure onto a little bit to make it look better, we are now just over, or right about $750,000 is the value of our mill. Last year that was around $700,000. It was around $660-ish or so the year prior to that. So we are seeing very steady increases in the value of a mill in our budget. So that $750,000 annually comes out to $94 annually for the average taxpayer. This budget does not, if we can go back real quick, sorry. I was jumping around. The budget does not propose a millage rate increase outside of the building improvement bond that voters passed last year. So no increases there from that perspective. Just to remind folks at home that those increases are just based on the increases in their property value, which is what the limit within the parameters set by the state. The difference there too is when a home is sold and then the uncapping happens, and that's a bit of a different story. But we can go to the next slide now. Our staffing levels here too, just to give residents an idea of where we've been and where we are today. 25 years ago, the city had about 200 full-time employees. 15 years ago, that number was about 160 full-time employees. In this budget year, we'll have about 134 full-time employees budgeted for. So as you can see, our workforce has shrunk by about a third over the course of 25 years. That's been through retirements, through attrition, things like that. Fortunately, not layoffs. Or any sort of other major cuts or anything like that. But it is, a perfect encapsulation of how the folks that work here have been able to do so much more with less and still continue to provide the services that our residents deserve. So next up, I'll talk about some of the fund's financial status numbers, like our debt obligations, fund balance, millage rate, legacy costs, things like that, to give updates on where we are this year with those. If we want to go to the next slide here. So the debt obligations chart, which you might need a microscope to read a little bit closer on, but nothing that should jump out to folks that as a surprise here. I think there's two bonds from our sewer fund that'll be coming off the books over the next 2 years, but obviously we'll have more coming on over time just as we continue to make sure that we do our routine maintenance and make sure we're keeping up on those things. The highlighted items you have here are our police, fire, and building improvement bonds that will be going out for here, along with our Rotary Park bonds as well, which folks are very well versed on too. So big upticks there, but things that have been very, very well discussed and everyone should be certainly aware of there too. So a couple debt obligations outstanding for equipment purchases, but outside of that, everything's pretty manageable and going in the right direction for us here. So our overall fund balance, our current fund balance with this budget is $10.7 million roughly, with the available fund balance being $4.5 million or so. The total budget being about $26.5 million in total. And with the GASB standards saying that we should have 15 to 20% of our annual budget in our fund balance, that range would be between that 3.9 to 5.3-ish number. So our fund balance has us squarely, in terms of available fund balance, squarely in there, but current fund balance well exceeding that. Another nice detailed chart here for everyone to take a look at. This also just shows the breakdown of how our millages are assessed, whether it be through our pension system, our road funding, things of that nature, just how that's all broken down, sanitation, things of the like. Again, as I mentioned earlier, outside of the police, fire, and building improvement bond, there isn't any sort of proposed millage rate increase. So right now we're still operating about, as it says there, for 0.4172 mills under the Headley cap. That's a tentative number just as we wait to get the final tax roll stuff from the state. So next one here, in terms of our legacy costs and our contributions towards that, as we all know, about 5 years ago, we had our MERS plan amortized in a much more consistent schedule. So we've got those flat rate $2.5 million payments for the next 5 years or so, rather than those up and down numbers we were looking at. Our OPEB ARC, other post-employment benefits, is actually down about $1.3 million from last year. And we've got, this year it'll be about $2.385 million. And our police and fire actuarial required contribution for the pension fund is increased about $170,000 for a total of $2.8 million or so there. And lastly, the moment you're all waiting for, of course, thanks to the work of all of our department heads here, certainly, and all the folks around the table. After all those requests were compiled, we worked through everything that we needed to there. We ended up with a slight surplus of $58,000 while working through all those requests, which has been added into the budget as a contingency expense. So appreciate them to certainly in making sure that a lot of this is a result of just a lot of really good long-term planning that's got us to this point. So no surprises on our part. Certainly hope the same on your part. But it's made for a very seamless process, and will allow for us to just be fluid as we need to over the course of the year, to make sure that we've still got room to address all the things that come up that we certainly never expect. So. I think that's about all I've got here too. One last slide just of the things to note going forward for us. After this year, we'll have some upcoming contract negotiations for all of our labor agreements. We'll have, as discussed, those new debt obligations for Rotary Park and for all of our building improvements. This budget did start to realize some new DTE revenue on the tax rolls from the projects that have been going on at the site there too. And we certainly hope to continue to see that grow. We'll have some big water projects that we need to invest in to make sure that we're taking care of our infrastructure and doing things to keep things in a much better shape than certainly others are. And then a lot of local road improvements that we certainly need to take a look at and make sure that we're utilizing the PACER study to the best of our ability. So. That's all that I have in terms of my highlights right now. I know that we'll go into much more depth with department heads and stuff on Wednesday. But if anyone has any questions or anything like that, I suppose I'll also turn it over to Councilman Benedetti for everything else from here. So.
Thank you, Mayor. So you guys have your budget, either you've read it online or you have it in hand physically. Wednesday, we'll go over it at 6:30. If you guys need to have questions or want questions answered, please email them to Dean so we can get the answers from the department heads like we have in the past. Did we pick another date after Wednesday or no? So also if we go over on Wednesday and need another day, please have dates available for that. But after sitting with the administrator last week and Jill and Elizabeth, this is looks like it's gonna be one of the easiest ones in a long time. There's not a lot of, asking. The residents gave us a bond to improve our buildings, so we have no capital improvements really as buildings go in this budget, which helps us. But just remember that everything in this budget is what they want to do. It's not something we may do. Everything's gotta still be approved, so. There are things in there probably that we may or may not do, and who knows, but as time goes on, we'll get through it. Does anybody else have anything to say? I'll start with you, Dora.
Actually, right now I'm still going line through line, so I'm good for now until Wednesday.
Okay. Timber?
Same with me. I'm still going over everything.
Emily?
From everything I've looked at so far, it looks good. I'll be ready for any more questions on Wednesday.
Okay. Nelson?
I'm all set, thank you.
Scott?
Going through it right now, but so far so good, so.
Okay. Mayor, we appreciate this. The department heads, we appreciate you guys for doing this. And Dean and Jill and everybody getting through this thing and getting it done. And then one of the things that I want to say again is we thank the residents for doing what they did last year with giving us the bond proposal, because it did help, because there were drastic improvements that needed to be done that we were doing it one way or the other because the buildings were falling apart. So we're getting there, we're getting stuff accomplished, trying to make this place survive. Like the mayor said, we're gonna have projects in the future, and we know they're coming. We're working on one on Jefferson now, and how much was that, Dean?
About 6 million.
About $6 million bucks. So, there's things that need to be done that either over time weren't done, or just, they're going bad now, and now it's time to fix them. So with that, Mayor, I think we are done, and I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Support.
Support.
Moved and supported. Thank you all.